All right, we are recording, so
Ew.
welcome. We are doing a Survivor Winners at War draft, so let's go around and introduce ourselves in case any freak wants to watch this. Woo! All right, so I'm Monty. Yeah, I love Survivor.
Funk.
Is that what we're gonna do? Do we answer one quirky Survivor question about ourselves then, real quick?
Sure.
How about this first season that you technically watched, or what got
Okay.
you in?
Okay. So the first season I watched was South Pacific because that was during 7th grade, and my 7th grade teacher made us all play Survivor and like vote out our friends. So I was like, let's get some strategy. And then during One World, I thought, wow, interesting season, amazing season, never been better. So,
Wow.
All
I
right.
really joined at the pinnacle of Survivor high quality.
and I'm still here, so must have done something right.
Yeah. All right. Do I go next?
Sure.
My name is Gage. The first season that I remember my parents watching it growing up, but the first time I got into it, I just finished whatever year of high school, was channel surfing, saw Survivor was on, didn't even know it was still a thing. It was the finale of Cagayan. Sat there and watched the whole thing. I was like, shit, cast was robbed. Then went back and watched the whole season in one day,
Again.
and then started watching the San Juan Del Sur, and
Wow.
Wow. Amazing.
I mean, like, the only memories I have growing up is I have two memories. It's Danny Boatwright winning Guatemala, and then the Fiji finale where Dreams didn't give the necklace to Yao, and my parents were casuals, and they cried and stopped watching Survivor after that.
Clownery.
All right. Well, I'll go next. My name is Andrew. The first season I ever watched was Pearl Islands, but it wasn't live. Just like back in the day where like you could find full seasons of Survivor on YouTube and they weren't taken down yet. And then I was like, oh, this is fun. So I tried tuning in to like the live Survivor, and it was the end of Flood versus Water. So I decided I'm not going to spoil myself for that. So I started watching live. My first live season was Cagayan, and I thought Tony was the devil because I didn't know any better, and I thought he was the worst thing to ever happen. But I also thought Cass McKellen was absolutely fucking robbed. I still hold that sentiment.
Oh, did everybody go except for me?
Sure, go for it. Why not?
Okay, well, I'm gonna go. Hi, my name is Pippa. What were the questions?
Just like
What was the first
what?
season you watched?
Yeah, first season you watched.
Oh, okay. So, funny story. The first season I ever watched was Co Wrong. Because I got into this little community or whatever, and I hung out playing Survivor before I actually watched it, and then it just so happened that like right after I finished a game, a new season was coming on, so I started to watch it, and I've watched every season live since then. And I also started at the beginning of Survivor, and I've watched all the way up to 8, and then I didn't have time. And I've also seen like half of 14. And yeah, that's it. I'm a casual fan.
Our resident casual.
Our resident casual queen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My name is Isaac. I've been watching live since Survivor Samoa back in the day. And I don't know. I thought Russell Hantz was literally the devil incarnate. And I still do.
That's still true.
You're right.
Yeah.
I like him.
Because you're casual.
Resident casual.
All right.
God.
Okay. So now that we've all gone, so we've for a few seasons. I think since David versus Goliath. Was that our
Yeah.
first season that we drafted? So yeah, we've been drafting together since David versus Goliath with like various iterations of this same group. But this season we finally decided, let's share our thoughts. Let's be those annoying people that give our opinions on the internet and say what we think. So we're doing...
do that already.
Yeah, no kidding. Our Twitters are the worst things ever. Anyways,
They are.
don't follow us.
Do it.
So yeah, so we're actually going to do live draft obviously here, and then the goal is to try and podcast throughout the entire season, just like what we think is going on, happening, all that sort of podcast, you know. So yeah, so our tradition is always the winner. So draft picking order starts with the winner of the previous season and then goes down and then back up, so it snakes. So it's like, yeah, so it's not just the winner getting the most picks. So everyone here except Pippa drafted last season. So Pippa gets last pick for being our casual, and not to brag or anything, but I kind of snapped and I won.
It's not like you're gonna pick who I want. So.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, so I won, and then, I don't want to sound like narcissistic, but I literally don't remember anyone else's placement, just that I won.
Oh my god.
Do you want me to keep track of everything then?
Sure, why not? But yeah, so it's me first. Who's second?
I am second.
Were
Gage
me,
second.
Gage, and I randomized?
No, you got
No, it's based on
last out of us. So it's Monty, then me, then Isaac, then you, then Pippa.
All
Really?
right.
I got last in the Island of the Idols draft?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Wait,
Yeah.
does that mean that I would go
Not
twice?
correct.
Yeah, Pippa. So
Yeah,
you
you'll
would
go
go twice, and then so
Isaac lost.
me, Monty, Gage, Isaac, Andrew, Pippa, Andrew, Isaac, Gage, me.
Yeah. You understand, so you can let us know. Yeah, you got
All right,
it.
I got it now. All right, so does everybody have like their general list ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have
So-
a list. I'm going to kind of play it by ear.
If you
Yeah,
need
me
to
too.
people, just let me know.
Oh gosh. Okay. So before this, a lot of people were speculating a lot about who my first pick was going to be. We've sort of been on call for a little
If you
bit.
take mine, I'm gonna kill you.
I don't think I'm gonna take yours. But
Michelle.
but I am gonna go. I'm pretty torn between two people, but I think I am gonna stay true to my roots and go Sophie.
I knew you were going to toast Sophie.
So, because I mean, she was like the whole big thing with this season is so many names, and she came from fucking South Pacific, like yeah. But also like when you dig deeper into her game, she pretended to be religious for 39 days, and yeah, I think that's pretty great. I think personally, if she can like make her game go at the pace that the other people will be playing at, but still sort of stay low key like she did in South Pacific, and sort of always be like someone's second or someone's third, then she can sort of control from the back and sort of basically repeat what she did in South Pacific. That's sort of what I'm doing. Also, I just want to stand her again. So
The thing that worries me about Sophie's fate this season, because Sophie's one of my favorites on this cast. She's one of my favorite players, period. I'm afraid I have two concerns. Concern number one is I think a big reason why she was able to play from the back of her alliance in South Pacific was because their game IQs were like a brain dead squirrel. Not to like discredit her win, but she was manipulating like Albert.
Brandon Hance was her
Ego,
competition.
Brandon Hance and Coach, who has never had a strategic bone in his body. He's just kind of there as a character. And I don't know how easily she would be able to manipulate if she got into an alliance, say on like day 1 or day 2. I don't know if she would be able to play that role again. My other main concern is she is kind of a little bit more of a confrontational personality, and I just don't know. I mean, I've always seen it as she got really lucky getting sucked into that alliance in South Pacific, because I think if she wasn't, she would have been pre-merged. Like, they would have been like, oh, Sophie's like annoying and like they would have done their like stupid like religious shit. Brandon would have been like, women can't speak more than 150 words a day, so we have to vote her out because she keeps talking. Because Brandon Hance is insane. I'm worried Sophie gets pre-merged, but I understand.
I think that the whole like dislikable thing loses a lot of weight in All-Star seasons personally, because everyone's like not thinking about those sort of things. They're all thinking like they're already thinking about day 39 on day 2. I think
they do when it's women.
Okay, valid, but
because
it's still
Sierra Easton
less.
in Game Changers, Monica Padilla in Second Chances, they will find a woman, mark one annoying thing she does, and then make it a reason to vote them out pre-merge in an All-Star season.
Me at Pippa.
Yeah. Sierra Easton breathed on day 1 of Game Changers, and they were like, oh, we have to put her on a spike.
Listen.
And they were right to do it.
Sierra is a nice person, okay?
She is.
Yeah, it's not my fault that I picked her. I said that my favorite player was Panama. Does nobody remember that?
I do remember that.
Isaac, did you have any thoughts about Monty's pick?
About Sophie, I just can't wait for her to do blackface.
Oh my god.
I mean, I don't think any of them are really religious out here, so she's gonna relate to somebody somehow. So she'll probably dress up as minorities until she gets to the end.
Sure Natalie is pretty religious. Adam.
Well, is Natalie on her tribe?
Ethan's
is Adam on her
really
tribe?
Jewish.
Is Ethan on her tribe? No.
Can I
Boston Rob looks like he's one of those like Roman Catholic Italians. Like, he looks like he would have just been in my family of Roman Catholic Italians, being like.
Can I give you my casual opinion on your pick?
Yes, please.
Okay, so looking at Sophie's Wikipedia page, Sophie is married to a man named Robert Shady. So technically her name is Sophie Shady. So I feel like Sophie's going to be a bit shady. That's all I'm saying.
Good. That's what I want on my draft.
Her last name, so shut up.
I want to
shut
Pippa
up, Andrew.
Pippa said the woman always has to give up her last name.
All right.
I never said that.
Are we good?
Are we done?
Yes, I'm done.
Andrew basically took the words out of my mouth. I think she has a lot of uphill turns to go. All right, so I get the second pick. Plot twist: I am not picking Michelle Fitzgerald.
God.
Fuck off, Pippa. I am picking the other person that I think out of this cast is most likely to go deep, and with the second pick, I am taking Denise Stapley.
That was my second pick.
Their cast of 20 is probably the most self-aware about how they come off. I think they're the most adaptable out of this entire cast in terms of what they had to go through already in their first season. I think in a game, especially New Age Survivor, which is now geared more towards alpha males, I think she's going to be able to coast a lot easier just because of that. And I don't see a scenario where she doesn't make merge. I don't see a scenario where... Go ahead.
Nope. Finish your spiel.
No, I mean, I just don't... In terms of just her personality and everything else, even just what's come out of preseason, it seems like a lot of people want to work with her. And I think in a game like this, where it's going to be very high not caliber, but just like pedal to the metal the entire effing time, likely, she's going to be the one person I feel like that's just going to be able to float. That makes sense. At least the most effectively out of everybody. But Yeah, that's my
Yeah. I feel like you also have to remember the way she's able to pick up allies and get people on her side is pretty remarkable, I think, on a social level. I think that doesn't get talked about enough with Denise, because she literally just like said hi to Lisa and Scuba, and they were like, they like started like sucking her dick, like. And I mean, she made it to the final two of a 6-person tribe, where I feel like, I mean, she broke that older woman stigma. I think, looking at the blue tribe, what is it called? Sele, whatever. There are, I can name at least like 4 people that would get voted out before her. Just
do it right now.
Ben, Natalie, Parvati, Rob. Anyway.
I roll.
Yeah, I don't think Denise doesn't not make merge. I just don't know what she would do at the merge. I think it depends on her alliance. Because she's not going to be in a position where, no matter how things shake up, there's not going to be someone in a position where they're going to be like, oh, I'm the underdog. I came from a decimated tribe. That's the only reality we know her from.
Mhm.
Like, so how is she going to play not being in that immediate underdog role?
Mhm.
Is the question, I think.
I feel like my thing with her is, I feel like she's, because like Philippines was before Idol like Mania really sort of hit, and Advantage Mania really sort of hit,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, when Abby is one of the people that has like a big Idol moment on your season, that's kind of like, that's Abby.
Yeah.
Like I think that would be like her only big hurdle, is like the Advantage things, especially with freaking fire tokens or whatever is
Yeah.
happening. Like we gonna be seeing an Advantage every other day. I feel like 4
Mhm.
times an episode, 15 minutes. It's the Advantages are gonna be the bigger characters. So I think if she can like adapt to that real quick, I think she's good. But if not,
Yeah, I agree.
Alright.
Anything else?
I'm good.
Outlaw.
It sounds like I made a good pick. All right, Mr. Isaac.
Okay,
suck.
so when I started this, I thought I had it like down. I thought I knew who I was gonna pick. I was gonna pick Natalie, but then I started to like think about like just like how the tribes are like set up, and like how she's already at a disadvantage being with like Jeremy. And so this might be regarded as a terrible pick, but like just like looking at all the winners and such, I decided to pick Ethan.
Yes.
Wow.
Snaps
I
and
just-
claps.
I
That
just
makes a
like
lot.
what?
No, I want to hear it. I want to hear the logic. behind it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, like Ethan for a while was regarded as like one of, if not the most likable winner that Survivor had.
He still
Arguably,
is.
of course. Yeah, he still is. And like I feel like going into this, he doesn't have a target really on his back as big as people like other people who are like pre-All-Stars like Rob or like Amber
Mhm.
or like Sandra. But I feel like on the flip side of that, I don't know. I feel like he's gonna be overlooked a lot. I just like that I feel like that is like the basis, but like just looking at his like preseason interviews and stuff, he has like this like drive, this like thirst to like prove himself in a season like this, especially after like surviving cancer. Like he has the want, like he never thought he'd be able to do this again, and that's just why I picked him.
I think like this is a super valid pick. I can see a lot of scenarios where Ethan's just able, like, if he plays the same way, just be able to pick up allies, almost like the same way we were just kind of talking about with Denise. He's just very charismatic. The only difference I think that lies between Ethan and Denise is I don't see a scenario where people take Ethan to the end. Like I feel like no matter however which way you spin it, Ethan's always going to be a humongous jury threat. just because of
Yeah.
his reputation from his first season and the story that comes from the fact that, I mean, he played in All-Stars, but I mean, he's the oldest winner out there, not by age, but like in terms of regards to like season 3 and everything else. I just don't think you let somebody like that get as far as you want to.
I feel like you could make that argument about him being a jury threat because of his story and like stuff can be applied to like multiple different people. And I think that Africa is one of the few seasons I have watched, so I can actually talk about Ethan.
Okay.
I think Ethan is a super smart player. And I think that one of his downfalls is that, and it sounds awful, is that he is so resilient that will be his most threatening factor to people, in my opinion. I don't really think it's going to be the nicety. I think it's going to be the fact that, like, you could literally put him on the outs at the beginning and he would still fight like he was at the top, which is so important. And I think there's a really good chance that Ethan could win. And I was kind of wanting to pick him, but obviously I can't. But I don't know. I just think that he's really good. And if they let him get to merge, it's over. Like, I think that he could really claw his way to the top.
I think I've been saying this for a while since the cast got released, and I still stick by it. I think Ethan's making like probably final 7. I think because we have to think about, I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying, but like he's gonna be one of those old schoolers. It's gonna be like, oh, I'm in fast-paced new school Survivor now, and I think he's going to have enough self-awareness to take a step back and observe first and observe how people play. I think I can see him being in a really like strong alliance, just being a number for an alliance for a bit. Like I'm looking at his tribe, I see him aligning with Jeremy. I see him aligning with Adam. I could even see him aligning with like Denise. Rob's on his tribe, so don't know how that's gonna shake out.
He is definitely gonna align with Adam, 100%.
I think definitely. I mean, they have the cancer connection.
Yeah.
So immediate. I mean, not to
Don't
make them like.
call it that.
It's true. I was gonna mention.
It's true though. It is true.
Denise.
It's there.
Denise,
Aren't they?
she'll connect with Adam and Ethan the same way.
I think
They have the
Ethan's
cancer
set up
connection.
on his beginning tribe. If it somehow turns into an arbitrary, like, oh, Ethan versus Rob scenario, and people have to choose sides, they're gonna vote out Rob.
They're gonna vote out Rob every time.
Rob's done, if that's the case. And I think Ethan will make the merge. I think, like Pippa said, his resilience is a really key factor. And also in Africa, the reason, I mean, he had Lex and Big Tom in front of him as shields. I can see that happening again because he's not. Everyone like knows he's a very liked winner, but he still comes off as unassuming in his preseason interviews. I think he's gonna have shields in front of him, and the only way he doesn't make FTC is if he gets to final 6 or final 7 and people are like, okay, we can't take him any further. It's too dangerous. And then his alliance turns on him at that point.
Anything else?
Another thing, I think it also depends on how the season goes. Like if it's a super strategic season, then he might. I know Andrew talked a little bit about like stepping back and all that, but if it's like a super strategic, hyper strategic season, then if he gets to the end, people might be looking for more of a strategic game sense, I think. But like if it's more like last time we saw Edge of Extinction, it was definitely more of a like social gear jury thinking about like the relationships that were formed, especially on the edge. That was like a huge part of it. And if the jury like reflects that this time, I think if you put Ethan in front of that same jury every single time.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Moving on.
Andrew
My
is up.
turn.
Yes.
All right. So I, like Isaac, am very much kind of came in with an idea, but kind of I'm deciding between two people, and I think I just have to go with my gut and take Michelle.
Boo! Boo!
I thought
Shut
you'd get
up,
back to me, honestly.
Pippa.
I thought you'd get back to me.
So dislike Michelle.
I'm really, really, really high on Michelle right now. I think just no one's gonna give a shit about her. And
Yeah.
And that's how she won last time.
well, she made it to the merge. I do have a couple of issues with Michelle, but at the same time, I have so many pluses for Michelle. I mean, we've seen in All-Star seasons that kind of like, female player, there's always one. Parvati in Micronesia, Kelly Wentworth in Second Chances,
Amber.
Amber in the first
Sarah.
All-Stars.
It's Sarah.
It's
Sekou
gonna be
bunch.
Michelle. It's gonna be Michelle. I'm speaking into existence, even though it was already filmed.
I can't
And-
believe you speak this wrong. Like,
When Karong first happened, I was an Aubrey warrior. I was an Aubrey got completely robbed warrior. And it took like 3 years for me to wake up and realize that Michelle not only played a perfectly valid game, but also played a really dynamic game. She didn't have to go to a pre-merge tribal, and that's a little polarizing. I personally, I'm like, on that part because we didn't get to see what would happen, and we have no way of knowing what would happen. But she was on the right side of the vote almost every single time at the merge. She put bigger targets in front of her. Her social game was phenomenal. And she got to play both somebody who, at the start of the merge, was on top, got knocked down to the bottom, and was able to play up from there. I think that's what people like Aubrey neglected to look at as such a powerful thing on a jury, is that everyone loves an underdog story. Aubrey and Ty weren't underdogs. And I think Michelle can play that again. Like, no one's gonna vote her. Why would you vote out Michelle pre-merge? Why would any of, with all of these targets, there's always gonna be a bigger target than Michelle.
Pippa, say what you have to say.
I think Pippa has
I
wanna go
dislike
after Pippa.
Michelle because she won not rightfully, and she didn't do crap. You always give this excuse. They have such a dynamic game. They have blah blah blah. They have this and this. They didn't do crap. They didn't do anything. They just sat there. The entire
I would say,
game.
I think, okay, here's the thing.
She won because
Michelle,
the jury was bitter, and we all know it. And that's just not people crapping because Aubrey didn't win. It's the truth. Michelle
I
didn't do
think
crap,
all
and
of-
she won because she's pretty.
God!
Michelle, okay. Here's the thing. Michelle's moves, like, you can name her moves if you watch the season more than one time,
Mhm.
because they were all in nuances. She completely
Voting out
destroyed
Voting out Julia, yeah.
Ty's chances of getting a vote. Michelle
Mhm.
is almost the sole
Also.
reason Ty got his entire game destroyed.
Yep.
She
In front of the
voted
jury.
Julia, and I'm giving credit to this because I watched Peridium's video today.
Yeah.
I forgot she voted Julia,
Yeah.
which a lot of the time people will not vote against their ally, and then they'll go right out the next vote.
She got
voted
herself
Julia.
Back
She voted
into
her
that.
best friend in the game.
Mm-hmm.
She completely played Nick. Completely. I think she was the main factor. She was the one who made Nick so comfortable to pull off that blind side. And even when she was never aligned officially with Aubrey. She was never officially aligned with Sydney, but they took her to Final Four anyway. They didn't have to. I mean, Joe Del Campo got medevac. That's you can't
I
tell
think
what
if
would have
Joe
happened
doesn't
in
get
that.
medevaced, Aubrey wins, but that's just a me thing.
That's also what I think. And at the same time, like, this is not knocking Aubrey's game. I think that was a scenario where if Michelle won, Michelle was deserving. If Aubrey won, Aubrey was deserving. If Ty won, no. But Aubrey and Michelle were, like, I think neck and neck in terms of, and back then it didn't look like it. But Michelle is so, on this cast, when we were talking about self-awareness before and like saying that Denise is the most self-aware on the cast, I think Michelle's more self-aware. If you just go, you can find a video and just look at like a compilation of all Michelle's confessionals. The girl is fucking intelligent as hell. She's incredibly intelligent. You can't take that away from her and say she sucks and she did jack shit.
Can I say something?
But
But I did.
I'm going after Isaac.
Okay. So, like, I do agree with you. I don't think Michelle's going to be targeted for a while on this cast. I do think she pulled off some dynamic moves, but I do think that there is merit in saying that I don't think she won because the jury was bitter, but I do think some members of the jury being bitter did influence that win.
For sure.
But then again, I do think I agree. I think Aubrey and her are more on an even playing field than people want to give her credit for. Like, I think Aubrey did a lot of things to like advance herself, like strategically. But I think Michelle did the same thing, but was also taking how the jury would feel into consideration. Whereas
Yes.
I'm not saying Aubrey didn't, but I do think Aubrey did it less.
Michelle had to play at that point with people who were basically, they weren't physically strangers to her. They weren't socially strangers, but on strategic levels, they were all strangers to her. She had no idea what she was playing with, and she figured it out, and she got to final 3. And Aubrey thought Aubrey had it in the bag, and then she didn't. By what, 5 votes?
It's 5-2.
That's crazy. The fact that she was able to beat Aubrey, I think there's something to say about that, because Aubrey played phenomenally strategically on a strategic level.
And if like back to like listing out her moves and all that stuff, I know it's sort of brought up as like her one big move from voting out Neil from the jury, but like the awareness that took to know not only who was supporting Audrey really hard, but who also
Audrey.
That's what we're calling her now. That's for you, Pippa.
Thank you.
No, who was like a big Aubrey warrior on the jury, but also who wouldn't piss off the other jurors. Like if you vote out of the jury someone who's like a big part of the jury's going to be like, why'd you do that?
Well, I think she knew. I mean, because at that point she was probably deciding like, oh, do I take out Neil? Do I take out Joe? And she probably would have known that Neil would have been a more
bigger
influence, vocal, but Neil would have
fought,
and debated highly. Joe would have just been like, I think Aubrey's nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Neil would have been like, ra-ta-ta-ta, like, you know.
Yeah.
Shut up.
All right. I can't believe I'm the biggest Michelle truther here, and I didn't even get to say anything.
Do you have something to say, Gage?
Yeah.
I mean, you basically said the words out of my. You said it basically.
Said the words out of
There's
my
always
mouth.
like that one girl that gets underestimated on every single All Stars cast, and that is Michelle. Michelle has attended the least tribal councils of every other person in this cast. She comes in being underestimated, especially after the controversial finish of Ko Rong and everything else. Ko Rong is my favorite season of all time. Fun fact. So like, I think I've rewatched every other season I've watched at least once, some twice. I think I've rewatched Ko Rong like 4 or 5 times. Like, I love Ko Rong with all my heart, and I love Michelle with all my heart. So F you at the same time. But I'm glad, despite Pippa's valid opinion, because all our opinions are valid sometimes, unless they smell. We're going to hear Pippa's next 2 picks, so
God, we have to sit through 2
Robin
Pippa.
Amber.
Gage said pretty girl, let's love her.
Yeah, pretty girl, let's love her. Pretty girl rock.
Is it
All
my
right,
turn
I'm
yet?
all good. Thank you for taking the words out of my mouth. Pippa, are you ready?
God.
Yeah.
Yourself.
All right.
Praise
Pippa.
Here's who I think will win season 40.
Okay.
Ben.
I called it. I remember we came on call. Did I or did I not?
I have to go.
Here's where I think Ben will win. Ben?
Can I say something? Wait, can I
I'm
say something before
pacing.
Pippa? Can I say something before Pippa defends it? I think this is a good pick.
I do
Thank you.
too. I want Pippa to explain it though.
Here's why I think Ben is a good pick. Again, this is a season that I actually watched, but I have this really bad fault where I can't really remember everything that happens in a season.
That's bad.
Don't know why. Probably because I wasn't there, so I don't care enough. But I just remember how strategically good Ben was, and that was a really, it was probably one of the only good points that he had in his entire game, is that he was really good at strategy. And I think that that is the most important thing in this season, because you have to understand that, like, yes, social game is always important. You know that I am the biggest, like, propeller of you should have a good social game.
Mm-hmm.
But these people know each other. They know each other pretty well, some of them. And I think that not having the best social game will actually benefit him. And he's also, like, I'm a casual, but I'm not stupid. But I'm still going to say this anyway, even though you're going to be like, rah, 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 rah. I can already hear you in my ear, Andrew. Rah, 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 rah. He's good at finding idols and searching for them.
He's good at
Unfortunately.
getting rigged offer.
Can I
The
ask
song is
I just-
those
Can I ask
Tony.
Pippa one question before
Excuse
we?
me? You're practicing meninism. I'm not done
Tyson.
talking.
I want to ask Pippa one question. So
Okay,
you
yeah.
say like, he's very good strategically. I want to ask just for like an example, like what would you say was his best strategic move that season, just so I have something I can base that off.
Please.
Ryan Ulrich's ass.
If you
Hold
can
on,
remember.
one second.
If you can.
Quickly.
I have to read the Wikipedia page. You have to give me a second.
What
Let me
did
ask you a
you do?
very fair question. What did Ben do successfully?
Oh my
I'm kidding. Ben did
God, you're
nothing successfully,
so-
unfortunately.
He won. He got $1 million.
He won,
That's pretty
so I
successful.
can't really knock him for that.
He played a double agent and he was really good at it.
Yeah.
That's what he did successfully. You're
Okay.
really bad at that, so I don't want to hear your opinions about it.
But was that his idea? Was that his
It
idea?
don't matter.
Like, that wasn't his.
Okay,
idea.
Michelle's things that she did, were any of those actually her ideas?
That's
Yeah,
true.
counterpoint.
That's true.
Counterpoint. Yeah, thank you.
That's true.
Thank you.
Because Michelle didn't orchestrate a few of those votes. She was along for those votes, but that's
But you still contributed those to her overall
Yes.
gameplay. I heard that come out of your mouth.
no. I would agree that I think Ben's biggest move was, because I don't count idols as moves.
Ben Bomb.
I think his biggest move,
Ben
because the thing
Ball.
is I am a very big Ben denier, and I hate that he won.
We're all
But-
conspirators on this call.
But
Ryan was
the
wrong.
fact that he was able to keep that lie going for so long that he didn't know about the JP vote, that's impressive. Like, you can't take that away. That's impressive.
I just think
If we're
that
all being
Ben,
objective about it.
I think that Ben just being really good at strategy, and like when he played that idol and tied the vote near the end, like I thought that was really smart.
That was
Okay.
Devin.
That was Devin.
That was Devin. Devin tied the vote.
Can I give my opinion?
Yeah,
on
Devin tied the vote.
Why do you
Rick
guys invite me
Devins
to these
tied
things?
that motherfucking vote.
I do want to say though, this is just going to be a very quick, and it's in my head of
And
like,
talk.
I think.
Oh my god.
What do you?
Nuh-uh. At
Ready,
tribal
if I can
council,
go.
he played the idol,
Hold on.
which negated 3 votes against him, while voting against Pinto, resulting in a 1-1 tie.
Yeah. and
Yeah,
Devin.
He can't vote for himself.
Because Devin voted for Mike.
Devin knew that, was like, Ben might have another idol. Let me vote for someone else so that it's a 1-1 tie
And then
in
they
case Ben
voted out
plays an
Mike
idol.
on the revote
I
because
then-
Devin
hate
said,
all of
"Please
you.
don't
I
vote me out."
hate you guys. Why do you
Okay.
invite me to these things just to make fun of me?
Because
want
What
you then-
what I was
Adam-
gonna say about Ben is because going into this season, I want it to be a great season, but there's that thing in the back of my head that says, what would make this season the worst thing ever? And I think it's realistic, Ben gets voted out pre-merge, fucking comes back at the final 6 of Edge, and then wins.
I
And
don't
can see
think
that
so.
happening.
Ben pulls a Chris.
I'm gonna tell you who I think comes back from Edge, but that's for later.
I don't think that Edge is going to be what we think. And that's the tea.
I think it's exactly what we think.
I don't think it's going to be exactly what we think.
Because I don't trust
talk about
Jack
this.
Rose with
Let's
anything.
talk about this later when we're not doing.
All right,
Okay.
but
I
this is
just
your
think one
second
thing about Ben real quick.
Never
That
mind.
maybe
Okay,
Yeah,
Gage,
let's talk about Ben. Let's talk
I
about
think in the equivalent of this cast, I think Ben and Michelle are the exact same. I think people are going to go in underestimating Ben in regards to like his winner status and everything else. I think if you ask the cast like and made them rank the other winners on this cast, I'm pretty sure they would put Ben at the bottom along with Michelle.
I don't know. I
If-
put Adam at the bottom personally.
I think that I think Adam or Nick would take that role better, but I still think Ben will be
they're
underestimated.
definitely
Sam's
down
going.
there.
But he's down there.
I could not.
Can't be down there if he's a
I'm-
winner.
I'm gonna say it. I'll be the first to say it. I could not stand Ben, but I want him to do well this season. Like I want him to put in his social game, and I want that to work. I have zero confidence that it will actually happen, but like, if he could, then I would love to see him do it. But my confidence
Just watch me win
Y'all
this
are
whole draft.
that much.
Y'all are so fucking cracked. I want him gone the first chance they get. Y'all are like,
Oh, same.
That's how I feel about Michelle.
I want Ben
Michelle
out
just
of
walks
there.
over
there.
an
Happens
island
to
and Jeff
Michelle.
says, walk back, Michelle.
All right, Pippa, what's your next ugly pick?
All right.
Okay,
So
so
who's your
who
next
am I
pick?
picking this time? Like, what is this
Amber.
number?
This will be
What?
number.
I think you're taking Rob.
What?
I think you're taking Rob.
this is number
I
I
don't
just
think
want to know
he's
what this
picking
number
Rob.
is. Am I picking last place or am I picking second?
What do you mean?
What?
Who am I picking? What am I picking?
just someone
for
you
next?
think could win.
You're-
You're
Yeah,
picking the next member of
Boston
your
Rob.
draft.
Like how
Obviously.
so basically for the higher the place, the more points you get.
I picked Boston Rob.
Yeah.
They're my second pick. Why? Because I don't want any of you smelly boys to get him.
I don't want it either.
I don't want him.
I don't
Take
want
him.
it. You took the bottom
Here's
two
why I
people
want
from my
him.
list.
Here's why I think that he's good. First of all, I'm gonna say it. I don't care how you feel. Boston Rob is one of my favorite Survivor players of all time.
Survivor.
I love him. I love him so
Amber.
much. I just love him. I
Daddy
think
vote
he
out.
plays really well. I think he plays really hard. I don't care if he messes with his own game sometimes, if he says things that he doesn't mean. I just think he's a really good player. And I can't exactly tell you why, because I don't really remember, because I haven't watched Survivor in a while. But I love Boston Rob. I think he has a really good chance of winning, if not only for the GOAT factor. Because if you bring Boston Rob to the end, he will not win. So if Ben, that smart Ben guy who's actually going to win, brings Boston Rob to the end, Ben
I want
will
to choke you
win.
to death.
Isaac, go. You go.
Isaac, what were you
Mental
saying?
institution.
I feel like Rob had to have agreed to getting some large sum of money to come back for this because
They all did.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like his is one of the largest because, like, I wouldn't come back knowing that I had a connection with the majority of the people here and my wife was on the cast. Like, their targets have both doubled. And, like, I don't see them letting him past pre-merge. Maybe even pre-swap. I think he's out first
I
five.
don't.
Why?
You know what I think might go first?
Who?
Why
Is it
don't you?
Michelle?
The Queen.
Okay, but why? Why, if Sandra has such a big target, why doesn't Rob have such a big target when he's been also, like,
Five.
brought
Because
up?
I love Rob. That's the difference.
Okay,
That's the
but, like,
difference. No, I love Sandra, but I like Rob and I want him to win. That's the difference.
But want and going to don't correlate.
Okay, well, you know.
I think looking at his starting tribe, he's absolutely 100% fucked. If I'm being...
Oh, really? Because Michelle's on that tribe, so I think he'll be just fine. Frankly.
I think literally...
I think, okay, honestly, the
mm-mm.
reason I think Rob will be fine for at least the first vote, and I know that, like, Monty's going to be like, let's not talk about this, but I'm going to say it anyway, and then we can move on. I really think that Rob's tribe is going to win immunity first.
I do
Like,
too, actually.
just based on who's on the tribe. So that's why I'm not worried about Rob for the first vote, because I think that they're gonna win immunity.
Why am I the one that would say something about this? What?
Because we tried to talk about the edge of whatever it's called, the edge, and you were like, let's move on.
Never.
And I was like,
No, that's like a twist thing, though.
okay, well, anyway, Rob
Okay.
is my second pick for winning.
If
I'd
I
like
had
put
to
it on
give,
record, Ben, and then Rob.
if I had to give like one thing I think Rob has going for him, and it's a really it's a reach. I think if somehow him and Ethan reconcile, and also Rob might have parvati, and he survives like one tribal and gets to the swap, then like maybe he's okay. Because here's the thing,
Honestly,
and this banks on, I think if Amber goes home first of the two, then Rob has a better shot. But I don't
Rob's
see
going
that
all
happening.
out if Amber goes home.
I that's why I don't think they would take Amber out first before him. I think everyone would be like, we have to take out Rob first, because if Amber goes home, Rob explodes.
I think that Ethan is a smart person, and that he'll put what happened in All Stars behind him. And he and Rob will get together.
Isaac, do you have something to say?
I do. I don't think that has anything to do. Like, I think, like, even if he does put All Stars behind him, if everybody else wants him out, he's going. Like,
All Stars was 16 years ago. Like All Stars was 16 years ago.
I'm not the one who brought it up.
But Ethan knows that Rob. Everyone knows that Rob has the capacity to do the things that he's done in the past. But if anyone knows, it's Ethan.
it's Vesepia, but she ain't here.
If anyone knows, it's Zoe.
Okay, listen. I'd like to move on. Rob
Okay.
is
Alright.
going to maybe win.
Andrew, it is
Okay.
Andrew.
So this is just the person I don't know why I was deciding between two people when I knew if I picked Michelle first, Pippa wouldn't pick Michelle. But I'm going with Mr. Jeremy Collins. I feel like all I really have to say is if he was able to play the Second Chances cast like that, he can fucking play this cast like that, because he knew exactly how to maneuver himself. Like, it was almost flawless. The way he was able to position himself, the way he was able to keep bigger targets in front of him, but at the same time not be the least valued member of his alliance. He's just really good at playing the medium threat level, and Second Chances was such a high caliber season when it came to the strategic gameplay that, like, I think he could. I just think he can do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy's wild.
I think on top of that, so like he played San Juan and like low-key shit the bed a little bit, like not kind of his fault, kind of circumstance, but a lot of other things. But he like took that and he's like, okay, this is what I need to do differently. And he's like, okay, this is what I have to do differently. And he did that, like point for point what he said he needed to change. So I think if he comes into this with like, all right, I need to change this if I want to succeed in this type of cast, he has shown the ability to change his game, like reflect on his game, see his flaws, and change it, both in the game and like between games, between seasons. So,
and I mean, I think his biggest anxiety in his games is usually about him being this really big threat, but like if he was able to make himself not look like that big of a threat on Second Chances, I feel like that just means it's even easier to do on all winners, where this is like the highest volume of threats in a season.
Well, like, out of on Jeremy's tribe, like, who do you think he's going to use as the shield?
Who I
Natalie.
think what?
Natalie. He's going to use Natalie as a meat shield, I think.
What makes Natalie more dangerous than him, though?
That's why I'm asking, because like
I
She's a
think
woman.
Natalie is
She's-
Jeremy not around.
She's
She's
a woman.
louder.
She's louder, and her moves have always been really flashy. Because a lot of Jeremy's moves seem less flashy by circumstance, just because he was playing like on second chances where there were a lot of big moves. But like, let's be real, Natalie was like the only person playing San Juan once he left. Like her moves were out there, flashy, wild. So everyone's, I think, going to be looking at her as like the
Because she was trying to. The thing about Natalie's moves that I think were really important in San Juan del Sur was they were flashy. She was trying to impress a jury. And like she was basically putting on a show for this almost all-male jury that was like eating up what she was doing and like sticking it to like Baylor and Missy, basically. Now the entire cast is basically the jury, so what does that mean for Natalie? I don't know. That sounded like a stupid point. That sounded smarter in my head, but
I think out of the people that were left, I think this is probably the best pick. So I think Andrew made a very good pick considering who's left. I'm surprised Jeremy didn't go earlier, honestly. I thought Isaac was going to take Jeremy instead of Ethan. I really did. I thought that Isaac was the entire time.
well, we can see who Isaac's picking next right now.
Isaac is
I feel
taking
like-
everything we've set into consideration. We've talked about her a lot. I'm taking Natalie.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why I'm taking Natalie.
Stan a legend, Stan a queen.
I do think there's a fat chance that Natalie goes pre-merge. With that being said, if Natalie goes to the edge of extinction, she's not going to be there for long. I think she's easily the strongest woman on the cast and one of the strongest competitors in general. She's a
Period.
CrossFit
Have y'all
coach.
seen her Instagram?
Like,
Yes.
she's jacked as shit. And, like, I just think Natalie has, like, a fire all the time. I think that's going to make her a threat. But I also think that's going to, like, propel her forward in the game. It did in San Juan del Sur. I'm going to be honest. I don't really see any of these people left winning, but I do see, like, Natalie making it the
I do.
furthest. I don't know.
I still have a solid 5 or 6 people I can see winning.
Well, you shut up. We're not talking about you. We'll get back to you. But with that being said, like, I just love Natalie. Like, I think she knows where she is in a pecking order, and I think she's, like, good at lying. And she played everybody in San Juan del Sur. You could argue that, like, she was the only one playing, but she knew where she was in that majority alliance. She knew when to flip on it. I think it was like Final 4 or Final 5 that she says at a tribal council, if they don't get rid of me now, I'm going to win. And then they still kept her.
Yeah,
So, like,
Final
4. Yeah. So, like, I do think she has her faults, but I do think Miss Natalie does have what it takes to make it far in this game.
I see the counteract off what Isaac said. I do see a very good chance that like Natalie can keep, but I can see Natalie being a Final 3 go. I can see Natalie getting 0 votes at the end. I could see a scenario happening where
Really?
That's because you're sexist.
no, I not only am I sexist, I think this cast is sexist. In a lot of ways. I mean, just in Survivor because it is a microcosm of society and everything else. Pippa's still here. She's not talking.
Oh yeah, I just
She
don't know
should
these
know
players
who
very
is.
much, and I'm finishing an essay.
It's all good.
And she doesn't want to get attacked for her opinions again.
I mean,
I just
Survivor,
don't-
It's okay. In Survivor, which I already believe is a microcosm, I think if you win and you're a woman, I think you're in some way, shape, or form you already had to try harder than any man who's ever won Survivor, just because of the circumstances. Let alone a woman of color to be able to do what she did in that season and everything else. Especially in the Blood versus Water season, which has a much more different dynamic than what she's probably going to be going into this time. So with the obstacles that she had in front of her that were just there by how the structure of the game works, unfortunately, how she did it and what she did it is outstanding. And I do think like some of the cast recognizes that. I don't think all of the cast recognizes that. But I think one of the also big things that like where I can see Natalie is like out of these people, like you have a lot of people that are like super fans, a lot of these people that have been following the show forever. I don't think Natalie's been watching much Survivor since she played.
No.
Which I don't know if that's going to be a benefit to her in terms of how she's going to adapt, because I do think she's one of, if not one of the most adaptable people on this cast. But, like, if she doesn't know what's going on in terms of structure and everything else, she may get out of the loop, out of the tribe dynamics, and eventually fall out of graces with this cast, which is, this whole cast is going to be the jury, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't disagree.
And to be fair, if Isaac did not take Natalie, I was taking her. So I fault the pick.
All right.
Like
Speaking
Natalie,
of,
oh god,
who
it's
are
me.
you going to pick?
So I don't know. I've narrowed it down to like 3 people, and my logic is since you're getting 2 picks, I'm trying to be like, okay, he's probably not going to take both. Let me get one. But the last time I did that, where Isaac was going last and I went third, I picked somebody and I'm like, he's not going to take. It was Tommy and Vince, and then he took Tommy and Vince, and I was the idol. So like, god damn it, I thought one was going to be left for me. So I'm trying to pick the person that is least likely to be picked by you, like most likely to be picked by you, that I really want. But at the same time, I feel a little bit emotional in taking one of these people. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I think you're gonna take this person that was actually my winner pick. I think you're gonna take the next 2 picks. I'll tell you if you do. But I'm gonna be a little bit emotional and pick this person that was the close second. I'm gonna pick Yul Kwan.
You're right. I was going to pick him. I want
to see if you pick the other person that I was going to pick. I'm going to say this, and I mean this in a nice way. Out of probably the people on here, I don't think I'm the biggest Yule truther. I've had conversations with Andrew. Andrew thinks Yule's like a top 10 winner. I don't think Yule's a top 10 winner. I think he's mid-tier at best, and I do think a lot of it is the super idol that protected him, and then plot twist is the final 3, and that kept him safe at final 4 back then. I think that says a lot, but at the same time, you can't deny how strategically capable he is. I don't think you can deny the fact that he won a jury against Ozzy, whether you'd like to believe, Ozzy's this great person or not. Ozzy on that jury was very well liked, considering that jury was filled with a whole bunch of recruits who were going to stand physical game, immunity challenges, etc. And I believe Ozzy won every immunity challenge except for one season. And he beat Ozzy, which I think still says a lot about how good of a reputation he had still in the jury. And I think he still holds probably that same. I'm trying to think of the right word, but just like, I think if he's on a final 3, I don't see how you can't not respect his game, especially with how well he's able to articulate every single thing he does. Mm-hmm. And like, I've seen his pregame interviews and everything else. He still keeps up with the show. Maybe not like super fan size, but he still knows the specific advantages, knows how the game works now still, and everything else. And
who's clicking first
who's
of all?
Who's doing that?
It's me. That's me. I'll stop. I'm just clicking on my computer as I talk and everything else. But
idiot.
I think if you let Yule get to the end, I think he wins. And I do have belief out of this cast of winners, he's almost the equivalent to a Jeremy in a sense where, like, if he can find the proper shield, he can easily skate right by.
Mm-hmm. He's also said, I know in pregame, that he wants to be more cutthroat than he was last time, but because he has such a squeaky clean reputation coming in, he thinks it'll be easier for him to be more cutthroat and people to trust him, and then him to go back on that. But I think that's a very interesting point to make, especially we've got like half the villain tribe here from HVV, so like so that's going to happen a little bit.
Any thoughts on Yule, ladies?
I think Yule's going to be a powerhouse this season. I honestly, if I could have picked a third person, I would have picked Yule. Although I do find it interesting that you talked Yule up so much and still have him as a mid-tier winner, because it didn't sound like you thought that. I just think Gage is trying to be quirky.
That knocked him down that way. I think like he's a very niche winner in a sense where like the reason that he did win was because of the proper circumstances. Where if a lot of things go differently, he doesn't win. If that makes sense. Where like comparative to other winners, there's still a lot.
Michelle shivering.
I think like another example which I will see is like Wendell. Like,
he
like
did lead an entire 4-person tribe on a how many person deficit to the Final Four?
it was 8-4. It was 8-4 at 12 before the whatever the flip was called. The
Mutiny.
That's it.
Mid-tier winner. You heard it here first.
I stand by what I said. Isaac, what do you think?
Are you still clicking?
Stop
Yeah.
clicking.
I've
Find
never
another
seen-
nervous tick.
I've heard about Yule. I've never watched Cook Islands, so like I couldn't tell you. Like I've seen halfway
You've never
But,
watched
like-
the Islands Sekou Bunch this entire time.
because Sekou Bunch is a legend and he's a rock star.
This is Billy Garcia Erasure.
I watched half of it. Like I know the pre-mergers.
Oh my god.
I think I'm
Really
all
aggressive.
good. All right, Monty.
Good.
who's
All right.
yours?
I'm ready to get roasted again. But Andrew, don't look at me like that. But I am going to pick. We've talked a lot about underestimated people and the under.
Don't.
What?
Sorry.
I'm worried.
I'm worried he's about to take somebody.
I am gonna take like probably the most underestimated person, at least from what I've seen.
I know who you're taking.
Danny. I'm gonna take.
Damn it! It was deciding between him and Yule. Damn it!
Fuck.
But bye. I'm such a Danny warrior.
Oh my gosh, stop.
Pippa.
Hey, but just say you hate women and move on.
I just don't know these people.
No, I think, just like how she managed. I haven't seen Guatemala. I'll be the first to admit. So first of all, this is like half of a.
You didn't miss much.
First of all, this is half of a like. I just want to see. I want to have a reason to stand her no matter what. But second, like, I've like heard about what's happened, and first of all, she made herself underestimated to the edit. Like, we all know that at this point.
She #beat the radar.
She beat the radar, yeah. And
She bend a la creme to Survivor. That was funny. Sorry.
Haha.
but like,
Pippa got raptured. Oh, sorry.
but like going from the minority to like all the stuff that she did, and then winning in the end against Stephanie, while still being like super underrated. I feel like, I don't know. I just think on this big cast, she has, like we've been saying, one of the best chances to sort of worm her way, float along, see what's happening around her, float to the power, and still be underestimated the entire time.
Yeah. I think I can see her making it to finals and losing just because on such a high caliber game and where strategy is so and like big moves are so valued at this point. I don't see her being because she's not a flashy player. I don't see her being like this revolutionary. Like she won playing an under the radar game. That doesn't really happen anymore, at least in the last few years. We see under the radar players at FTC basically get told to kill themselves. So I think the way she won back then wouldn't win her the game now, but I can easily see her making single digits.
I think that if she phrased it correctly, she could win like a newer season. I don't know how I'm like trying to like. I feel like she'll play like
If she
a very
bullshitted.
Victoria. Yeah, like not necessarily a bullshit, but like I did this and like just made it like sound better than it kind of was.
Bullshit.
Yeah, shut up.
Bullshitted.
embellish.
Shut up. I feel
Lies.
like if she plays now, she's gonna play a very Victoria Edge of Extinction-esque game. I don't know, but like, it didn't work well for Victoria towards the end. But you know how it be.
I mean, it didn't work well for Victoria.
What?
I mean,
Victoria.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing, though. Does Danny know that she's coming into this underestimated, or is she kind of just going in being like, "Woo, this is all winners"?
In her preseason interview, she was talking about how like Guatemala sucks and how she said something. I think she knows she's coming in underestimated.
Yeah,
Okay.
Like,
That's
yeah.
yeah, I know what you.
Her ET interview, yeah.
Yeah, she
Okay.
said like
ET Canada.
was the hardest season of all time. What she said, like physically.
Yeah.
But
Well,
fuck you, T.
Danny Boatwright, everybody.
all right, Monty, who's your second pick?
God. I have to go through because I was like, I was.
If you want me to, I can name the people that are left.
No, I think I have everyone that's left.
Amber.
We have
Kemba.
there.
No thanks. I'll pass. Honestly, at this point, we're in the second half. I don't really care anymore. I'm gonna take Kim because
Okay.
God damn.
because even though she is coming in with a big threat, she's a one-time player. So yeah, she's a big threat, but she's also not the biggest of the big threats. So if she can really minimize, she was a lot of what we said about Natalie also kind of applies to her. Like, she was on One World. So if she can be like, I ran circles around the One World cast, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Look at the One World cast. Like,
The One World.
Alicia was my biggest competition there.
Fucking
Alicia.
Colton. Christina Shaw.
Christina Cha, I'm so sorry.
I love
Tarzan and Troyzan were my biggest competitions. Like, what do you want? Like, of course, anyone with half a brain cell could have won that season. Like, if she plays up that angle,
I think, yeah.
I could see.
Sorry.
I was just saying, I could see her go from like one of the bigger threats to a more like upper middle level of a threat, and then from there, if she brings down her threat level in the early days, I could see her doing a little bit more, because she is also a bigger challenge competitor. Everyone said she's just charismatic, which is a thing, and if she can bring down her threat, rope in some allies, I think
that's the thing. She's a
pretty for a little bit.
fantastic liar, and she's just like, she's definitely on the surface one of just like the nicest people probably on the cast, and this cast has a lot of bold, aggressive, polarizing personalities. So
Andrew looks dead at the POCs because he's racist.
looks dead at all of the women because they all need to go home. For
Pippa said, "Yeah."
Pippa's getting Amber.
Kim.
You don't know me.
I think this is going to show if she has the chops. TM, I guess, because I hate like. Obviously, she's a good player. I mean, we can joke around like, oh yeah, she played circles around the One World cast, but like, if you won Survivor, you won Survivor. Like, you're a good player at that point.
Unless you're Ben.
She positioned herself in the best way she possibly could. She showed that she had a great self-awareness. She knew what the pecking orders were. She knew she was the decision maker of the season. Was the One World cast on average like DUMB dumb? Yes.
No.
Had to do something right?
You remember when Alicia was like, she reminds me of one of my...
Stop. We're going to get demonetized.
I think about that all the time.
No, but she like, even if she did run circles around it, she still like made up that whole thing about Tarzan, like doing all that stuff, and she managed to make Tarzan a bigger threat than herself. Tarzan.
Yeah.
She convinced Alicia that Tarzan She's like, look, Tarzan, bigger threat than me.
And she convinced all of these people that she was their final two, which is crazy. But then a part of me is like, no one ever like cross-referenced each other. I don't know. One World is an enigma of a season. I don't understand. Like Sabrina and Chelsea could have both had one conversation where they were like, did Kim say that you're her ride or die? And then they would have been like, like Spider-Man pointing at each other mean. And then Kim would have been dead. But I don't think anyone one time cross-referenced anything Kim ever told them. I think that's going to be very different this season. But Kim's still a powerful player anyway, so I think she could be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree. I think this is a horrible pick. I'm so sorry.
I think she's getting pre-merged, but I think
if
like
I think Kim's tribe goes to tribal council, she's first move. I think if they go to the tribal council, she's first move.
Do you think they'd send her home over like Sandra or
Yes.
like
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
I don't know about Amber. I think
Every
Amber
single
could get voted
person,
out
like,
first.
You go and like in the ET interviews, they ask every single person, who do you think is the best winner of all time? I swear to God, I think 5 or 6 of them said Kim Spradlin. Like every single person. They didn't say Boss Rock.
I don't take into account a lot of those things because it's before they actually go out into the thick of shit. You know? I don't usually count.
Like, doing the fact that like none of these people understand like how good or I think every single person on here is aware of how strategically capable. Like I don't know. I think if she makes it to a swap, I think she'll be okay. I think she can work her way into.
Yeah.
If it's like if it's day 3, maybe even day 6. I love. I honestly thought Kim was gonna get back to me. I was gonna have to pick 2 people.
Gage, you're really quiet right now.
I can't hear him.
It's my connection. Whatever. Long story short, I hope she does well.
Yeah.
Oh, now I can turn my thing off.
Is it my turn, unfortunately?
Yeah.
Because Monty, I did pick Danny, who I wanted. I'm still between like 2 or 3 people that I really want, but I know none of those 3 people are going to get back to me by the time it gets back to me for the last 2 picks. So I'm like trying to like
blow my fucking nose again.
Oh. And Monty still didn't pick my winner pick, and like for some reason I still don't want to pick this person, and I think I'm gonna get a lot of shit for picking this person. I think yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say fuck it, and I'm gonna pick this person. I'm picking Adam Klein.
I think that's fine.
Oh my god!
I haven't understood the Adam Klein hate preseason.
It's, for me, not so much hate. He's just kind of
well, not
underwhelming
hate, but I think
to me. But I don't think it's a bad pick.
Like, I think Adam's coming in extremely underestimated, like a lot of the winners here. I don't think he's necessarily regarded as like a top half winner. I am a Hannah Shapiro defender till the end of my time. I will sit here and say that. But I just don't see how it's like the same thing for like Michelle. Why would you target Adam? The only thing you could say is maybe because of like the story once you get to the end, but like I don't think he's that.
That doesn't become a factor pre-merge.
Yeah, like physically he's average. Strategically, I think he's average. Socially, average. Like I think he's the average. I think he's the average in comparison to this half. And
I do think though,
very middle of the road.
If he tries being too schemy in the beginning, like I kind of have him in the same pocket of maybe like Sophie and like Natalie, where like they get Sierra Easton from like Game Changers, where they say one thing and then it's always like that at the first vote of an All-Stars cast. They always just try to find one person to scapegoat and to vote out first. And I could see that being Adam. Because Adam annoyed his cast. Like, he was not in the best social graces the pre-merge of Millennials versus Gen X because he just wasn't very liked. I mean, I don't know. He's also probably one of the least physically adept people. So, I mean, I don't know how much they're going to pay attention to physical capabilities.
I think with Edge, physical capabilities is like basically a non-factor.
It's
here.
a non-factor. They're not going to give a fuck.
Not much to say about him, but Go ahead.
I think Adam, if he doesn't fall to that sort of like first couple round, just sort of like, well, someone's got to go home. Why not? Why not Adam?
Yeah.
I think after that, it's kind of like the opposite. Like, someone's got to go home, but like, why are we going to waste a round on Adam, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if he makes it a little bit, he's going to kind of, not Sandra, because I'm not sure how intentional he can make it, but just by virtue of like being Adam, they'll be like, we can save that vote. Like,
Yeah,
it's just Adam.
I don't think it's going to be by his own volition for the most
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
All right. That's basically all I had to say about Adam. Isaac, you ready?
Yeah, and I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this one too.
Ooh, I'm ready.
But I'm gonna break it down why. Nick was supposed to be first boot in David versus Goliath. I'm not gonna pick him.
That was debunked.
False.
Was it actually debunked?
That was debunked.
Well, that's stupid. I don't like Nick anyways. We're moving on. Tony and Sarah are together. I'm not gonna fall for that. Amber got her husband in the game. I'm not gonna fall for that. Sandra, a 2-time winner. I'm not gonna fall for that. So it kind of comes down to 3 people for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm picking Parvati. I don't care. I know that's probably a terrible pick.
Man, I can't believe you did
don't
that,
think
man. Can't believe you did that.
But like, I do think out of the people who are coming into the game with like massive targets, I do think she has the best maneuverability, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, compared to people like Sandra or like Rob, I don't think. I think if they get targeted, they're not going to be able to get any wiggle room. I think Parvati could, just because she's more charismatic. But that's just a me thing.
I do agree with that because we've seen, specifically just the Sandra Parvati comparison, we've seen both of them come into a season with like the biggest target on their back out of the cast, and in their 2 seasons, Parvati made Final Tribal and Sandra went pre-merge.
Yeah.
So I think if she can, I think Sandra or Parvati's target is even bigger now, but if she can do at least something kind of similar, downplay and then overplay and then just sort of do the most. She's shown that she can do it before.
If they're smart, though,
but if they're smart,
they'll vote her out because I think she's one of the greatest players of all time. Like,
I mean,
doesn't like you can say like the general community of Survivor could be like, oh, like Sandra's one, like the GOAT, Rob's the GOAT, but like they haven't gotten pre-merge. Parvati has not gotten lower than 6th place.
5th.
Sixth.
5th.
It was 6.
Stupid. I haven't seen Cook Islands.
It's okay. Andrew, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So, like, pick Jeremy, and we're, like, talking about how there's a very good chance that Jeremy's probably going to replicate his meat shield strategy. Jeremy and Parvati are on the same tribe. Could you see them aligning? Like, for that specific reason, and Parvati taking much more of the damage than Jeremy for that specific, like, because of her reputation?
I think it depends because I mean, yeah, Parvati can be used as a meat shield, but there are other options. I feel like if I had my pickings of meat shields, yeah, I could choose Parvati, but there are other meat shields I can pick that will be less dangerous for me down the line. Because
yeah,
Parvati has concocted some of the craziest schemes in the game, period, and has blindsided the people she's voted out. She's blindsided her allies, not telling them what she was doing. Like, Parvati's crazy. Parvati, personally, for me, if I was on a tribe with Parvati, I went to the first tribal council, I'd target Parvati first. I think she's nutsy cuckoo. Like, she's I genuinely think she's the best player of the cast. Like, she's on another level.
You say that when Rob's sitting right there.
Pippa, shut up!
I can't believe.
It's not even Rob and Sandra in second. Like, they're not.
My turn now.
No, Andrew still has a whole ass pick.
I still have a whole ass pick. I need to look at that.
Oh my god, we're
Not
gonna.
even fair.
I can tell you who's left, Andrew, if you need it.
No, I got the wiki up. Okay. Let's take a look-see at
Pick
these
Nick, I know you want him to fuck you.
ugly people left.
We are not.
I feel like there's still 2 people that's left on this board that can still win.
I mean, the winner's already been picked.
PM me, Gage. PM me, because you know I can't do anything about it. I won't say anything. I promise.
I will say this. I think it's between the people that Isaac was narrowing it down to. And
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Y'all are gonna think I'm off my shits if you don't think I'm off my shits already.
I mean, you're not Pippa, but...
Shut up.
I'm picking Tony.
You're
Shocker.
picking who?
Yeah, you're senile.
Tony.
You must have. Did my
You just
craziness
said
pass
Barbie's
on to you? Is that what's
crazy,
happening?
and you would target her first, and then you just drafted Tony.
Yeah, because I wouldn't target Tony first. On that tribe?
You said only men scare you. Women don't.
I just have, and this goes against everything, like all of my like ideologies where I try to ground everything in logic.
You guys are so fucking
If
cringy.
if any of the people who are coming in with the big target.
Oh,
Did he die?
he sure did die. He sure did die.
That's
I
what he
guess
picked
that's
Tony.
on.
All right,
Well,
should we
I
discuss?
should explain for him.
Let's just-
He picked badly, and that's the end of it. Thank you.
I would like because I think this is a really bad pick.
I do not agree. I was fully expecting to end up with Tony. Like, I
I
was
thought he
expecting.
was going to say Sandra.
Me too.
I thought he was gonna say Sandra after he said he was off his rocker. Not
Yeah, I
Tony.
was like, okay, just pick the most obvious person to get voted out first. Like,
He
Now
said,
that you were just gonna talk shit about it.
yeah, screw you, Andrew. I hope you watch this back.
He's still got to make another pick.
Oh,
Well, Pippa's got 2 picks.
Yeah,
And
Pippa's got 2. Okay.
and Pippa's gonna pick Nick, and no, he's
She's picking Nick and Amber.
Nick and Amber. Nick and Amber.
Calling it right now. All right, Pippa.
let me
Yeah, but
think
yeah,
of
go
who
ahead and make-
you guys. Let me think of who you guys want, and I'll pick those people.
No.
Who's left? Can I get a list, Gage?
Yeah.
You have
just,
Amber.
no, just tell me whenever you're ready. I will tell you the people that are left.
I'm ready.
Okay, you can have Sandra,
Okay.
Amber,
Okay.
Tyson,
Okay.
Sarah Lacina,
Okay.
Wendell,
Mm-hmm.
or Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Got those 6.
Okay,
I'm gonna
well,
pick Nick and Amber.
so first I am going to pick Amber.
Okay.
Just because I love her and I think she's a really good player. I'm super tired and I'm starting to act like Alexis from Schitt's Creek, so I kind of need to go to bed. But anyway,
Can we talk about Amber though for a sec?
yes, I love Amber.
Because no,
I
I think that
I
she's
for
a really
once
good
was
player,
not going
but
to
I think-
attack you.
I think
I
that
agree
a
with
lot of her gameplay comes. Okay, no, I watched those 2 seasons. I think a lot of her gameplay comes from using others as meat shields, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I don't know. I just think Amber's a really good UTR player.
I do think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was.
You know that I don't like UTR gameplay, so that's rare for me to say.
Hi,
My phone died.
Pippa has
We
chosen
know.
Amber,
That's okay.
and we were. I don't remember what I was gonna say, honestly.
Amber's gonna
Did we
cheat on
move
Boston.
back to Tony, or can I go back to Tony?
You can talk about Tony if you like. We just shit
I
on
think
you.
we
though.
talked about Tony for you while you were gone, so.
Well,
We did.
what I was going to say about Tony is between all those people, so like those people that are coming in with the giant targets on their back, like Kim, Rob, Parvati, Sandra, Tony, and like Sarah.
Me.
I think if any of them have a shot at breaking out of that and going somewhere in the game, it's Tony, because I just think he came in way too fucking hot in Game Changers, and he knows this. And hold on a sec. And I don't like, you can't deny that his ingenuity in strategies and in his ideas is pretty unparalleled. I just think if any of those of all those giant targets, all of them can't be first boot. Like, some of them are going to make it to the swaps. A couple of them might make the merge. I think if any of them do, it's Tony.
I don't. And I'm going to tell you why I don't.
Mm-hmm.
He's literally starting on a tribe with Sarah from, Kageon. Didn't get along. And he's starting on a tribe
They're
with
like
Sandra.
best friends.
Are you sure? Because, I don't care who you're friends with. Even if Parvati you're friends out of the game, like Rob
Yeah,
and
no,
Amber
I'm
are married.
not saying that, but it's not like they have not talked since and they just
But
meet each other.
What I'm saying is that if you're going into a game like that with somebody like Sarah and Tony, I think Sarah won't hesitate to target Tony because she knows how he plays. She knows that he's
I don't
ingenuitive
think.
or whatever.
I think that them targeting each other first, though, thing is getting overhyped. If I'm being honest, I don't. I don't think that's how things are going to shake up on that tribe if they go to a tribal. I think it's going to be who's a Amber. I honestly think if anyone's going first from that tribe, it's Amber.
I disagree. I think if Rob goes on the blue tribe, Amber's target is gone.
Yeah, but we go back to, this is going through really big specifics, but I think the red tribe has a better shot of going to tribal first. But these are nitpicky things at this point. I think Tony's getting heavily underestimated.
I don't, because I think the only reason Tony succeeds in Kageon is because Trish is there. I think Trish is the main reason why he's able to stay in.
I disagree.
Of course you do, and that's why you.
Well, you can argue with a fucking wall. So.
Anyway, back to me.
We think that.
Go
we
ahead.
think that Tony's winning Kageon, the only thing that kept him in was Trish.
I didn't say that.
She was a big factor.
She was a big factor. I understand that.
I think the only reason Jennifer comes back to that alliance at Final 8 and doesn't flip is because of Trish. I think the only reason Cass flips at the merge is a big reason is because of Trish.
I'm not denying that, but I still think, but that doesn't take away before what I said about his ingenuity.
I wasn't taking that away from you.
No, I know that, but I'm saying, okay, so then I'm saying if anyone can get past that first target mark, it's Tony.
I think it's Amber.
That's not being answered,
I thought it was Parvati, and I was told I was wrong. So,
we saw what happened in Game Changers, and Sandra beat him to
because
the
I just want that responded to, of all of those big target people. The reality of the situation is all of them can't be the first or second boo. There's.
Yeah, you're right. Only Michelle will be the first boot. It's so obvious.
What happens if Tony makes it 5 or 6 or even 7 rounds in?
Well, he won't, so I don't think you
won't.
have to.
My God. I'm just trying to get an actual, because I'm not getting like an actual answer.
I
like,
think
this
if
is like the
he
same
makes the merge,
hypothetical.
it's like the same thing as like with Chaos Cass in Cambodia. Like Cass made the merge because she never went to a tribal, but once they got to the merge, they needed a scapegoat. Let's just vote off Cass because of her reputation.
Okay, that's a better answer. Because I can see that happening. But it's like, I think there's this like pretense that like everyone in their heads thinks that like these 5 or 6 really big players are just like all first or second boot, but like that math doesn't make sense.
Happened to Game Changers.
What do you mean?
Sari, who never like. I mean, that's why it's happened. I mean, that's off topic. I think we should move on to Pippa. But yeah,
Yeah, I think we should just move on.
Pippa, you want to talk more about Amber, or do you want to make your next pick?
So my first person was Amber.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've said all I need to say. She's amazing. She really will not win, though. So I'm just picking her because she's close enough to what's left. My next pick, I want to crush one of your dreams with it. So I'm gonna start mouthing letters. I'm gonna look at your reactions.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to pick.
Keep him. Take him. I don't want him. I don't give a fuck.
I want to pick Wendell.
Okay.
Wow.
Because I watched that season. And Wendell was okay. And I kind of want to see him win a challenge again. And then not tell Jeff that he won. Until somebody else does. And then he's like, I've been done for 3 hours, Jeff. And he's like, you didn't say my name. And that is purely the only reason why I'm picking him, for the memes. But you may talk about Wendell as I go to sleep.
Good night, Pippa.
No.
I think Wendell has a good shot, actually. I was surprised he wasn't picked sooner.
I don't think that he actually does.
No, I think out of like the new age winners, I think he's one of the better picks because like even though he only won like what, a year before filming, 6 months, not long before filming,
not long.
but like yeah, I know in his preseason he said a lot of like, I tied with Dom, like, you know that I'm like a good player with that, but I think that goes against him. I think that's a sort of like Dom took a lot of the heat off of him, and more people are focused on Dom that season, and like he won because of his social game, which is a lot more underrated, especially in Modern Survivor, than Dom's big strategic stuff. And I think going into this season, that's good because everyone's thinking Wendell was the social one, Dom was the strategic one. But Wendell had some good moves. So I think if he can like really focus on the like, yes, I'm just social. Like I only won because my best friend broke the tie in this season. Like, haha, let's just make furniture and have fun together. Then like he could start to do some more of the like schemy things that Dom sort of seemed at least to take control of in Ghost Island.
I don't think there's anything he can do pre-merge compared to the new school players like Ben and Nick and Adam that people would be like, oh, that thing Wendell did, I don't like it. Or like, Wendell just like said this shady shit. Like, I don't think Wendell will ever put himself in a position where he's gonna get like shit talked at camp and like shit talked in a way that it's like it makes him a pre-merge boot. And I think if he makes the merge, he's just the thing is about Ghost Island is I can't tell if he purposefully undersold himself or not, because like I refuse to rewatch Ghost Island to try to see if he did actually purposefully undersell himself. But I think he makes merge. That's like the most opinion I have of him.
Yeah. I think it took Pippa 4 tries to get a good draft pick, but she got one.
Yeah.
I think I succeeded with my first one, Ben, and you said so. We can roll back the tape.
I said no such thing.
I think you have a decent draft, Pippa. I think Amber and Wendell are going to do well.
Thank you. I love you. You'll get to a good draft someday. Keep picking.
Oh, is it my
I
turn
won the
again?
last one, Pippa. I won.
Who's left?
You can pick either between Sandra, Tyson, Sarah, or Nick Wilson.
Oh my god. Oh my god. We're in the shit now.
I disagree. I think there's possibly there's two good
I
ones.
don't want to pick Sarah, but I'm gonna pick Sarah.
God damn it!
Just because I think the other three don't have a shot in hell. I don't want to pick Sarah. I feel like that's all I have to say on that. I can't believe I have both of the police officers.
I don't hate Sarah. I think she played a decent game in Game Changers. Like, I do think her social game, she was able to get Sierra Don Thomas to hand over the legacy advantage while voting her out. I do think that's a big move. But with that being said, I do think she's coming in with a target because of that. But I don't think it's that big. I don't see her really. I think she's going to be most vulnerable in mid to late pre-merge.
Yeah. You were saying, Andrew, about how you think Tony is the most likely to maneuver himself out of that early target. I think that's Sarah, personally.
I think it could be Sarah.
Out of the big threats, I think she's the one that makes it out into a swap most easily.
I think she could do a good job of surrounding herself again with people who aren't going to take her out right away, but then she tries to make that first move, because that was her thing in Game Changers. I think that gets overlooked a lot. The only reason she was able to make those moves was because she was just the one that made them first. She just turned on everyone before they turned on her. And I think that was her big thing, because she was able to hop around and kind of decide who she wanted out, because as early as Final 10 or 11, no one was thinking to take her out yet. So she said, oh, well, I'm going to take that opportunity. I'm going to take you out first. And some could say it was too early, but obviously it wasn't for her because she won. I still think she has an uphill battle, and I think she's in the top 10 for winners. I just personally don't care about her as a person. But it's fine.
Yeah.
That's all I have on Sarah Lucina.
I didn't think he was gonna pick Sarah. I thought he was gonna pick one or the other. I don't know. I don't hope Sarah does well, but I just think she played really well in Game Changers, and she can somehow avoid the target, because I think she does have a big target coming in.
I think Sarah's gonna realize that gay people exist, and then have another metamorphosis moment.
Where are they here? Where are they
there's no gays. She's gonna meet.
She's gonna realize
she's gonna meet Natalie Anderson, and she's gonna be like, I've always heard of people from Sri Lanka, but I've just never met one. And you're just Natalie. This is Natalie. That's all you're ever gonna be.
That's all you're ever gonna be.
All you're ever gonna be is fucking Natalie.
Yes. All right, Isaac. You have
Isaac. Final three.
I really definitely want one of these three people, and if you take it, yeah, it's him. I'm not taking Sandra. If you take the one, I'm actually going to cry.
I'm legit in this situation where I love Sandra and I hate Tyson, but I think one of them is destined to do better than the other. But like I don't think they're really gonna do that well. I'm gonna pick Tyson. Just because like I saw the lie he had. I do think like he's gonna like overthink himself or whatever and like get himself eliminated like he did in Heroes versus Villains. But I'm not picking Nick and Sandra. Poor Sandra.
Poor Sandra.
I wanted Tyson so
I
bad.
could
I was
see-
like, wow, I'm actually gonna get Tyson after all this.
I could see Tyson coming back from Edge.
Yeah,
I
like
did-
whenever I
was
was picking Adam and debating Adam, I was debating between Adam and Tyson, and I wasn't expecting to get Tyson, and I really shocked that he like got this far down. Honestly,
Yeah, I could see him coming back from Edge, but besides that, that's about it. That's about all I see going for him.
I think he's gonna try and make moves, and people are gonna call him on it. I don't think he's at the level that he thinks he's at.
Yeah, like
I just no.
I think the dynamic of Blood versus Water really helped him out.
Oh,
And
for sure.
he played that season very well, but this isn't a Blood versus Water season, and the dynamics are different now. And so
No way. Not good for some reason, for sure.
Are you just saying things to be controversial, Pippa?
I'm just saying things to fit in.
Oh my god.
Thanks,
No,
Pip.
but
we
I
still
think,
have trading, so
yeah, no, I think with the whole like loved ones and pairs and that whole dynamic, he knew how to work that well, and he knew where he fit into all that really well, and he knew where other people fit into that. But I think here with this dynamic, it's going to be like, Andrew, did you say Heroes versus Villains? Is that what you said?
I said Heroes versus Villains.
Isaac, yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more similar to Heroes versus Villains for him.
Do you guys think he ever made up with Sierra from Token Jeans? I like to think he
Oh.
did.
I
I
like
like to think that they text on the regular.
God.
I'd like to think that they've blocked each other's numbers.
Gage, I'm
I
done
would-
with Tyson. Oh, do you want? Sorry,
I would like to see Sierra back on my screen, but that's neither here nor there.
Same.
Sierra
Right.
said I'm on crack now.
Am I making the second last then?
Yep. Give me my final.
I'm at a moral debate because, like, I don't know if there's actually honestly a clear pick to pick between who's left. But at the same time, do I want to be petty and like pick Sandra? Because if I don't, Monty's literally have a team of all women, which is like, how did he do that?
Unless he trades, we still got to trade.
We still trades.
Do a trade? Well,
Pippa's gone.
it's
Do we
fine.
want any of Pippa's?
Oh, Pippa's
Yeah.
still here. Pippa's still here, but yeah, we
I
don't
would
want
trade
Pippa's.
for Wendell, but if I took Nick, if it was okay with that. But either way, regardless, I'm going to take Nick, and I'm going to let Monty have his icon all-women team. I will be honest. Whenever I first saw this cast, despite like seeing it, I always kept forgetting Nick was on there, and I don't know if that was the same, maybe for the same people that are out there, but I could still see a scenario because of his win and just he wasn't like the central point of that season. David versus Goliath is remembered as a season of just all entertaining characters and Nick.
Yeah.
And
Entertaining characters and the winner.
in the winner. And I can see the same thing kind of happening where he's able to just slip by just because he's humble old Kentucky Nick and no one just gives a shit again. Like he has like the same energy as like Adam, where it's just like, I mean, the only difference is like I think like there's more of a case between people saying,
Yeah.
well, like we can't vote out, we'll have to vote out somebody, let's vote out Nick, versus like why waste the vote on Adam just because of recency bias and where his contention lies.
I think Nick will have an easier time than someone like Adam making allies, though. I think, I think it would be helpful because I'm also kind of on that same wavelength of, like, it's Nick. Who the fuck is Nick? Like, to actually think about and kind of dig to, like, find the things that he did actually do well on his season. And immediately I'm thinking he had allies that never turned on him. He had allies that he was able to pick up pretty quickly. I don't know if that'll be the case on a cast. Well, actually, I was going to say I don't know if that'll be the case on a cast of I don't know what I was saying. Basically, what I'm trying to get to the point is that David versus Goliath was a cast of crackheads, and this is also a season of crackheads. So who knows? Maybe Nick can. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm so tired. Nick Wilson, everybody.
Let me talk.
No.
Isaac.
I had something to say about Nick, and then I just completely forgot.
That's your problem.
When you were like, I think Nick is gonna have a better time connecting with people than Adam. Is that what you said? Or like
Getting allies.
Getting allies. The only thing I could think of is earlier when you guys kept talking about the cancer connection, and I wanted to say, but the cancer connection so bad.
God.
But like, fuck y'all. I can't stand any of you. Let's talk about Sandra.
She's
Let's
dead on
talk about
arrival.
Sandra.
She's dead on arrival.
Sandra is going to
On
get
site.
shot in the
She's
face.
Sandra's dead on arrival, and I'm so happy she's on my team.
Get the fucking coffin. What is the actual? What is the chance, or what are the chances that she actually gets taken as a shield to the merge? Because it almost happened in Game Changers. She technically got swap fucked in Game Changers.
Mm-hmm.
But
Swap
the
fucked
difference
and
is that like
challenge
the Game
throne.
Changers cast is not as strategically inept as this cast.
Yes, that is also true.
Yes, Isaac.
Yes,
What if this like became like I'm just like looking at this cast. I'm like, there's like potential here. What if this became like an old school versus new school kind of deal? Like, because I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, there are so many big threats. Why don't the big threats just band together? You know, like just save the bloodshed. I just think that'd be interesting to see. Like, just take out a few, like Nick, Ben, maybe.
Agree
Isaac
that
sounds
would
like the one
be
who goes to
smart.
sports and where they're so I hope they just have fun.
I agree.
hope they have fun.
I agree that would be smart and that would be fun and festive, but at the same time,
It's just not realistic.
I'm assuming that their egos and their prides are way too fucking big for that.
Yeah. It's just not realistic.
It's not.
You know,
Sandra's gonna walk up to Parvati and be like, Parvati, it's our time. And then Parvati's gonna be like, okay, and then she's gonna roundhouse kick Sandra in her fucking steel jawline.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I flipped that scenario. They roundhouse each other at the same time.
And die.
And medevac.
Sandra walks up to Parvati, says, "Let's do this thing, girl." And then they both just punch each other.
Courtney materializes on the island and drags Sandra's corpse back to the States. I have a question.
Says, I have a kid now. And Sandra says,
"Can I punch it too?"
Sandra says,
"Is it worth $2 million, girl?"
I have a question. Okay, so like we know that like some people are more physical than others, and like Sandra's bad at challenges. If Sandra goes to the edge of extinction, she's not coming back.
She's dead.
With that being said,
Good
do we picture anybody in this cast raising the sail?
no.
Like, and if we do, who do you think it would be?
Sandra's the only person I could see doing it.
Amber.
Sandra would do it.
I think
Amber
would do it.
I don't think Amber would.
I don't
would.
think Amber would do it because if Amber gets voted out, Rob's probably already there, and you know Rob hasn't raised that sail, so they just get like a couple week vacation together.
I don't think any of them would want to have that title of, oh, I'm the person that left the edge on all winners.
Jenna would do it if she was here.
Shut up.
I don't have any of these people I can manipulate.
Sandra's literally the only one I could think of.
Yeah. Jenna says, "Wait, I'm coming off of heroin. I can't be here."
Oh my god.
She said, I can't feel my family.
We're muting Isaac. That's what's happening.
Anyway, I'm very tired. Hi, Pippa.
Welcome back, Pippa.
I was washing my
We've got a
teeth.
trade.
Yeah,
You don't
so
have to trade, but are there any trades you would like to make?
no, okay. So each person gets to trade one up to a person if they want to with someone else. Is that what the rules were? Is that what we said?
Yeah. I mean, there's 5 of us. I mean, it would be.
Is anyone gonna actually trade?
Does anybody want to trade?
If Pippa would like to, because I know how much she loves Kentucky Nick, I will trade Nick for Wendell.
No,
Okay, that's fine.
because I think Wendell might be my actually only good pick, so
Oh.
I'm gonna keep him.
Oh.
I mean, Rob's the winner, but
Who wants? I actually want all 4 of mine. Never mind.
I mean, I would try and like pawn off Sandra, but no one's gonna take her.
No.
As
I
you
might.
literally saw. For who?
Oh no, I really don't like Tyson. I'm still up in the air.
Isaac, I would trade Nick for Tyson. I want Tyson actually really badly.
That was the wrong answer. I like Nick less than Tyson. I'm
Damn
sorry.
it.
I don't dislike Nick, but like I do think Tyson has a better shot than Nicholas does. Sorry, Nicholas.
He's like the
I will.
only...
I will
Do I want
trade.
Tyson though?
Okay.
I will trade Andrew. I will trade Mississippi Towery for your Natalie White.
I wanted Natalie for my Earl. What the heck?
Trade my Richard Hatch for your potential lawsuit.
I will trade my Sekou bunch for Gage's Billy Garcia.
I'll stick with my Chris.
Why would you give up
good.
Sekou?
The only trade I would even possibly consider, if it would be depending if Monty was interested, I might consider a trade for Yule for Danny, but you would have to sell me on it. But if you're dead set on Danny, I will back off.
I don't know, because those two for me were right next to each other on my list. They were, they were 3 and 4 for me.
Oh my god.
Ooh, read your list. I want to hear it.
My list. I'll read my top 5. So obviously Sophie, then Denise, Danny, Yule, and then Natalie, just because I love her for literally no real reasons. Just I stan.
Yeah. I was pretty spontaneous with mine because, for example, I have Wendell at 2, and I never picked Wendell despite the countless opportunities I had to. So, I had Denise at 1, I had Jeremy at 3. I actually did have Adam at 4 just because I think he's just going to rat his way in. And I did have Sophie at 5. And then I had Tyson at 6. Then Danny 7, and then we get to Michelle.
so
Michelle. Okay. Wow.
oh my god.
I need to go to bed.
All right. Are we all done?
Okay. I'm solid on my draft.
I'm solid. on
I'm
my
good.
I'm
All right.
solid as the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Oh my god. Okay. Monty, do you have all the drafts you'd like to read out before we end?
If everyone could just PM me their draft, that would be.
Oh God.
But
I was
just for
hoping somebody
everybody
else
else
would
that
track.
may not be watching this, for Team Monty, we have Sophie Clark, Danny Boatwright, Kim Spradlin, and Sandra Diaz-Twine. For Team Gage, we have Denise Stapley, Yul Kwan, Adam Klein, and Nick Wilson. For Isaac, we have Ethan Zahn, Natalie Anderson, Parvati Shallow, and Tyson Apostle. For Andrew, we have Michelle Fitzgerald, Jeremy Collins, Tony Blachos, and Sarah Lucina.
Blockos.
Yeah, fine, whatever.
It's
And for
Italian.
Team Pippa, we have Ben Drebergen, Boston Rob Mariano, Amber Burkich Mariano, and Wendell Holland.
God damn.
That
What
Pippa's
if that's
draft
the
gave
final
me
four? I'm
highs.
shooting myself.
If Pippa
Really, any draft with Michelle Fitzgerald on it gives me hives. So,
God!
God, just say you hate women.
She
I'm
doesn't
the
hate
only
Amber.
woman on this call full of men. So I think we all know who hates
You
women
hate
here.
women.
Andrew.
It's Andrew.
True.
Gage is the one. Gage has 3 men. Hello.
No.
Yeah,
I can't say my choice. I could have picked Sandra.
Oh wait, I only have one woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who hates?
It's because I don't know
Not
the
me.
other one.
It's because Monty took all the women.
Yeah.
You guys, you let
You
me
had
take all the
chances.
woman.
Hello.
You
Y'all
all
had
let.
your-
I had the last pick. The last pick, and you let me have Sandra.
I know. I'm fine with Nick.
Anyway, this is
Nick has
Fred
man boobs, man.
Batman signing off from iCarly.
All right, yeah. So that is all we have. We will try to come back on weekends to recap episodes, talk about how awful our drafts actually turned out to be,
Yeah.
and hopefully fix all of the echoes.
Wait, are we coming back tomorrow?
Not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Yes, Pippa, bright and early.
6 a.m.
Set your alarm for 4. I want you to be
Dog.
here.
Oh my god.
All right.
All right.
So that's all we got.
Alright.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.